We recently watched a video where Warren Buffett described the power of compound interest. And what we want to do is discuss compound interest with you on this video today. My name is Darius.
And I'm Carmen. So we're going to talk about compound interest from two different avenues. We're going to talk about it from investing and then also from savings. But I think it's important for us to learn from the master, Mr. Warren Buffett himself. So let's go back to some of the points that he addressed in that video.
Right. Now, Warren Buffett is top 5 richest people in the entire world. He is a investing genius. And Warren Buffett focuses on the stock market, specifically the S&P 500. And what he explained in the video was the fact that his first investment was at 11 years old, where he raised $114 and some change to buy his first stock.
Wait, hold on for a second. Like, that's pretty dope to be 11 years old and already be in the sound mind of thinking about investing.
Right. He didn't even have where he could
Damn
use
the
his
lemonade
cell phone.
stand.
But I'm saying he couldn't invest with a app like how we can now.
No, yeah.
It wasn't as convenient for you to invest in the stock market.
Back in the 40s,
you had to look at the newspaper in order to identify what stock that you wanted to invest in.
Exactly.
So he did this at 11 years old, $114 and some change. Now, what he explained next, I really enjoyed, because he said if he was to reinvest a dividend back into that stock right now, what he would have is $400,000. And that, my friends, is the power of compound interest.
Yeah, right. We started with how much?
$114.
And then compounding as of today?
$400,000.
There's a difference in there.
There is.
Big difference in there.
And I think one thing that I learned through this is the fact that by investing his money, one thing he was able to do is keep up with inflation, because his money is continuing to grow. And what he was also able to do is leave the money working in that vehicle. If he didn't touch that money and just reinvested the dividend back into that stock option, then that's what it would grow to. So there's two things that we have to really think about when it comes to being able to benefit from compound interest. Is we have to have time, and we have to start early.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I think it's really important for us to just have the conversation of investing, understand our opportunities, like you're talking about with the S&P 500, what Warren Buffett does specifically. But even like taking a step back for a moment, because what Darius and I like to talk about is paying yourself first, and what are you doing with the money that you're paying yourself first with? Because what we typically tend to do is, if we pay ourselves first, maybe that money goes straight into an investment vehicle, which is fine, which is good, because we are investing and we're aware of it. But it's all about making sure that we're as efficient with our money as we possibly can, and where can we get the most bang for our buck.
Right. And what I want to say when you talk about efficiency when it comes to our money we're investing is we're not going to touch that money. It's not money that we need. It's money above and beyond what we need to maintain our expenses.
Very good point, because that's the point of compound interest.
You can't touch it.
Yes, you have to keep the money sitting there so that it can compound on itself. But if you keep pulling money from this vehicle, it's going to affect the compounding effect.
Right.
So what we want to share with you today is, when we think about how we move our funds from our bank account to an investment vehicle, where are we storing those funds, and how can we maybe be more efficient with those funds in the first place? And like many of you know, if you're not new to the Wealth Nation channel, Darius and I talk about using whole life insurance designed with high cash value. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some numbers on the screen for you to see, and we're going to walk you through exactly what we are doing as far as where we are parking our paying ourselves first funds, or our cash flow funds, in order for us to use this as a storage vehicle to then invest. Now, I think it's important for, again, everyone to understand why we do this in the first place. And it is because if we put our money in a savings account and we then invest money, we never see that money again. Right? So what we've already done is, in the savings account, we've disrupted the compounding effect that we could have been earning inside the savings account. Right? So what we want to do is look at, are there other opportunities for us to maybe use a different vehicle where we can store our money with the intent to invest, but it doesn't affect our compounding abilities, in order to earn compound interest in our storage vehicle and potentially earn compound interest in our investments. And the beauty about whole life insurance is if we use it as a storage vehicle, we can park our savings inside our whole life insurance policy and earn compound interest. It's a beautiful thing. And now what happens is anytime that we decide we want to make any investments, we get a loan from our policy and use that loan to fund investments. And again, that doesn't affect our ability to earn compound interest inside a policy. So we're earning compound interest in the policy, and now we can earn compound interest in an investment. So for us, it's all about double whammy. How can we be efficient and have our cake and eat it too?
Right. So if Warren Buffett is talking about investing in the S&P 500, which he said if anything happens to him, he's going to suggest that his wife take 90% of the money that he leaves to her and put it in the S&P 500. Now, let's think about this from our perspective. What we're saying is we should use a life insurance policy where we're earning compound interest, and then use the cash value and then invest it into the S&P 500 and earn the compound interest. So now what we're able to do is we're able to earn compound interest through our life insurance policy. So if anything happens to us and we pass that money on to the next generation, they can then take those funds and have even more money to invest in the S&P 500 so that they have more money.
Snaps. So that's why we want to, talk about this concept, because it's really profound once you can kind of see what's happening in the background. So let's go ahead and put those numbers up on the screen. And what you're going to see is a snapshot of us funding one whole life insurance policy for around a 20-year time frame, starting in 2017 and going all the way until 2036. And that's just for this example today that we're showing. So you'll see in the blue column, this is our annual premium for, again, one particular policy. It's $10,000 for years 2017, 18, 19, and 20. And then in 2021, you'll see the premium drops to $4,120, and we pay $4,100 for the rest of the time that we're showing you. The next column in the brown is the cash value. That means that is the amount of money that is available to us every single year that we continue to pay this premium. In the white column, you'll see cash value increase. So this is just showing how much money our cash value is increasing by every single year. And then next we have the death benefit, and then the death benefit increase. So I want to make sure that you're familiar with all the numbers that you see on the screen. So the main thing that we want you to see just from this snapshot, if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see within this 20-year time frame, we would have put $105,920 into this one whole life insurance policy, and the cash value that we have access to is $160,809. So that's a difference of about $55,000. And again, this is where we want you to start to see the power of this policy, because just within us parking funds inside this whole life insurance policy, it is allowing our cash to continue to grow. We have $55,000 plus at the end of this time frame, and every single year we can utilize the cash growth inside the policy to invest. So if you take a look at year 2018, you'll see the cash value increase is $61.99. Now, what can you do with $61.99? Maybe in this instance, we may invest it in the S&P 500. Whatever other investments come up, every single year you can see in this cash value increase, we are going to use all of this money that's growing inside of our policy to continue to invest and further our efforts.
Now, as we continue our efforts, let's say something happens to us in the meantime, what we can do is we have the death benefit that is also available. And what you'll notice is even if we go down to 2036, we have $160,000 in cash value, $611,000 in our death benefit. Because we already have the cash value of $160,000 invested in the stock market S&P 500, just for this example, because we're talking about Warren Buffett, the difference will be left to our relative so that they can then start investing the death benefit also.
Now let's take the numbers off the screen for a second, because what Darius just addressed, I think, is important for us to all understand, because that's the difference between just having a savings account, taking your income and then throwing it into an investment. We have one step before we do the investments, and we're taking our income, putting it into a whole life insurance policy, having our money grow in a compound environment, and giving ourselves the benefit of having a death benefit should something happen to us, right? So now we have a death benefit, we have our savings compound compounding for us, and we have the ability to invest in any vehicle that we decide every time we get a loan from our policy. So as you can see, that's where we're starting to get points, right? We're getting so many points on the board where we're able to do so many things at once just because we're using a different vehicle. And that's why we feel like it's important for us to share these nuances of policies, because we get all these comments on the channel all the time where people are saying, Carmen and Darius, why don't you just invest the money? Or you think that we're taking our income and using it to invest in a policy. Whereas you can see quite clearly with the numbers that we showed you is we're just using it as a storage vehicle to put our income. So again, we can earn the compound interest, have the death benefit for CYA, and also allow us to invest. And that's why we feel that this is such an important tool that is completely underrated, because a lot of times people just don't understand the nuances that go into policies and how you can use it to your benefit to further everything that you want to do when it comes to your finances.
Right. So what's better than earning compound interest once? Earning it twice.
With a death benefit.
So if you want more information on how to earn compound interest, check out our next video where we talk about how to turn $500 into $500,000 with compound interest.
And don't forget to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.